Hello and welcome. You're watching Trending Tonight with me, Sanket Upadhyay. Let's take a look at the two stories that we are going to track. Story number one, remember there is a national oxygen emergency and it has to be called exactly that. But the big question is, are we managing it right? What has our response been? What happened in the past is past. But how are we handling the present and hopefully the future? That's going to be discussion number one. And story number two, finally the Election Commission says there'll be no rallies or road shows in Bengal. But the question is this too little too late? Where was the Election Commission for 6 phases? The Prime Minister has also decided that he will not go for election campaigning. But before we move any further, let's first make you watch this presentation of how there is an oxygen crisis right here in the national capital. And just imagine if this is the story of the national capital as far as oxygen is concerned, what must be happening in other parts of this country.
Struggling to breathe, Saurabh Bharadwaj, MLA from Delhi, is pleading Central and Haryana government to help Delhi with oxygen supplies, as Delhi faces acute shortage of oxygen with many hospitals with just hours of oxygen left.
यहाँ की ऑक्सीजन भी 3 घंटे की बची है। मैं सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट और हरियाणा गवर्नमेंट को ये रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ कि इस तरीके की चीज़ें ना करें। बहुत सारे लोग इस ऑक्सीजन पे डिपेंडेंट हैं।
51-year-old Ashish Goyal pleads with folded hands for oxygen supply for his hospitalized father, who is on ventilator at Delhi's Saroj Super Speciality Hospital. After hospital authorities informed Mr. Goyal that only 15 minutes of oxygen is left at the hospital.
हर अब 15 मिनट की बैकअप आ रहा है कि 15 मिनट में ही ऑक्सीजन खत्म होने वाली है। पूरे लोग सब ऑक्सीजन के लिए बहुत परेशान हैं। हॉस्पिटल भी बहुत कोशिश कर रहा है कि किसी तरीके से ऑक्सीजन आए, और अदरवाइज अगर ऑक्सीजन नहीं मिलती है तो बहुत यहाँ पे पेशेंट्स की जान को खतरा होने वाला है।
In a major respite to over 150 COVID patients, Saroj Super Speciality Hospital received a tanker of medical oxygen. However, the situation remains critical in several other hospitals. In a private hospital in Ghaziabad, ambulances instead of transporting patients are now transporting oxygen cylinders to be refilled. The situation in Vaishali's Lakshmi Chandra Hospital is extremely critical, with 118 COVID patients and merely an hour of oxygen left.
कोई ऑक्सीजन सप्लाई नहीं है।
नहीं, फिलहाल में तो नेगेटिव मुझे रिपोर्ट आई है।
कुछ भी है, मैं अस्पताल में किसी मरीज को भर्ती करने की पोजीशन पे नहीं हूँ। ऑक्सीजन आ नहीं रही है।
Upset with the present scenario, MD Mukesh Goyal has written a letter to the administration appealing them to take over the hospital.
ऐसी कंडीशन के अंदर हमने शासन से भी कहा, शासन कोशिश कर रहा है लेकिन कोई सफलता मिल नहीं रही है। तो आखिर में मजबूरन होकर हमने कहा कि शासन हमारा हॉस्पिटल टेक ओवर कर ले, जिस तरह से चाहे हमारा पूरा स्टाफ उसको कोऑपरेट करेगा। कम से कम हम अपना जो टाइम है वो मरीजों के इलाज के लिए लगा सकते हैं।
Shanti Mukund Hospital, another hospital in East Delhi, has started discharging patients who are not on oxygen support due to the lack of oxygen. The hospital alleges that the firm responsible for providing oxygen has stopped responding to our calls.
हमारे पास 110 पेशेंट एडमिटेड है, इसमें से अराउंड 12 वेंटिलेटर पे हैं और 85 मोर देन 5 लीटर ऑक्सीजन है, और सारे के सारे सिक पेशेंट्स हैं, और जो हमारे कुछ पेशेंट जो डिस्चार्ज हो सकते हैं उनको डिस्चार्ज करने को बोल दिया।
Meanwhile, the Delhi High Court gave stringent direction to the central government for smooth supply of oxygen to the hospitals, a special corridor for oxygen transportation, adequate security for the tankers. If anyone stops, obstructs the movement of oxygen, criminal action will be taken against them. Earlier, the central government had claimed that to meet the exponential rise in demand, it has increased quota of oxygen for 7 states.
The COVID-19 situation in the country has deteriorated so much right now that despite the efforts from the central as well as the state government, several hospitals, especially in Delhi NCR, are reporting shortage in oxygen for COVID-19 patients that are admitted in these hospitals. And the lives of hundreds of COVID patients are dependent on these kind of oxygen cylinders, and these cylinders are somehow managing to keep them alive. With camera person Sushil Rathi and correspondent Saurav Shukla and Ravi Ranjan Shukla, I'm Akshay Dongre, 20 TV.
Let me now go across to Rahul Mehra. He is a senior advocate representing the Delhi government in the High Court. Thank you very much, Rahul. I want to start by asking you, I think through the course of this this conversation, this case, when the Delhi High Court was hearing it, the centre, and correct me if I'm wrong, said that the Delhi government is sensationalizing the shortage of oxygen. It's not just the Delhi government now. Top hospitals are tweeting, writing letters, and as we showed in this presentation, the crisis is real.
That's right. We need to be alive to the situation in case that we are in a state of medical emergency right now. Unfortunately, we haven't declared it. I think if we declare it, people understand the magnanimity of the situation, and maybe rather than working on days and weeks of timelines regarding the supply of oxygen, we can start working on the reverse pattern, which is rather than days to weeks, from days to hours and minutes. Because what is happening is, while we were over the last 3 days in the High Court, every few minutes there was an SOS call. Every few minutes there was some hospital or the other which was saying that, we are running out of oxygen. We have 2 hours, 4 hours, half an hour. We are almost out of stock. And people started digging into their reserves, begging and borrowing cylinders from their other hospitals and other friends. So this is the alarming situation. Now, obviously, every state is trying to do its very best. Unfortunately for Delhi, we don't have a manufacturing unit, we don't have a supply unit, we don't have our own oxygen out here, we don't have plants out here. It is not for the state to be doing anything. There are suppliers. The supply line is actually allocated by the central government. Once the allocation is done, the oxygen is supplied directly from the supplier in these specialized tankers to directly the hospitals. So, frankly, a state like Delhi has a very little to do. It's almost like a very helpless situation where all you're doing is trying to coordinate between different agencies and ensuring that all these SOS calls are immediately attended to, begging and pleading the central government that please, for God's sake, send us the next supply. In a nutshell, I want to say that surely the central government hasn't really stated that India is out of oxygen or that the supply is far less than the demand. That's not a statement that I've heard, at least so far. If that be the case, then why can't we have a coordinating unit? And if one is there, then probably I'm oblivious to the fact. But now I've been attending this matter for last 3 days, and marathon hearings have happened.
But now, Rahul, the Supreme Court has also taken suo motu cognizance of this entire matter and has asked some questions of the centre on what their plan is. I really wonder, do you think the courts ideally should be doing this? Jobs that governments need to do, courts should be doing this?
Well, in an ideal situation, you're right. In an ideal situation, it should be the administration, it should be the concerned government. And since it's a central government which leads the way, all the resources have been centralized and they've been allocated. They are the ones who are allocating to all the states. So the lead has to be taken by the centre. But we are not in an ideal situation today. Every state is struggling for oxygen. Every hospital is struggling for oxygen in Delhi. And therefore, it is important, I've been trying to say 2-3 things over the last, that these are things you can do immediately. Why can't we have a dedicated corridor, which is, the paramilitary forces should protect that. Because it's a warlike situation, it's a medical emergency of sorts. You need to protect the resources. You need to ensure that whatever has been allocated to whosoever reaches in the fastest possible way. Why can't we have railways? And railways always does phenomenal job in times of crisis.
The railways is doing.
Why can't we? No, railways has started a pilot project, which is an oxygen express for only two destinations for the time being. We don't have time for pilots right now. We need to be in execution mode.
Sure.
People are going to lose lives.
Okay.
So what I'm suggesting is we need to now really up the ante. We need to really press the pedal, and it's a matter of life.
Let me ask that question to Mr. PKD Nambiar. He's also here. Political analyst views lean towards the BJP. Mr. Nambiar, the first step is to admit that there is a crisis. The first step is to also admit that yes, we did not plan this. And the next step is to perhaps handle the crisis now. Do you feel that the government has failed on all these fronts? And when I say government, I mean the central government.
So I would say that today is a day wherein I would say, at least as a common citizen of this country, I see the chaos, crisis. The word crisis is very small to talk about, at least in the city like Delhi, where I am living in. I think all the governments, whether it is a center or a state, every government, why do you want to put only on the central government? Every government in this country has failed to save life of people. It is the basic right of every individual to get the basic health facilities and an oxygen cylinder. And if the government, whether it is a state or a central, cannot provide us that, I think then we don't require a government. Whether I support BJP, whether I support a Congress, or whether I support an Aam Aadmi Party, it doesn't matter. The human lives are more important, Sanket. And in this chaos, I feel that the politician after politician is getting admitted in the Max Hospital, Medanta Medicity, AIIMS, and all the other places, whereas the common man have to travel from one hospital to the another hospital.
That's true. But see, sadly, exactly the same thing is being said.
Politician in this country should be going to LNJP hospital and standing on the queue just like a common citizen. I think the entire political system, irrespective of BJP, irrespective of Congress, Aam Aadmi Party, or any party, they have all failed us today. I think this is the fundamental rights of each one of us to get the basic health facility. You can now say that we are on an unprecedented situation. This is what I have been telling till yesterday, that it is an unprecedented situation. We may not be able to calculate it. But the government, the bureaucracy, the system, you have a prime minister who takes every decision at the right time, but then you also need to have a system. You can't have only one man, Superman, can't be driving this nation.
No, but then the allegation is that this Superman sort of system has been artificially engineered.
No,
for instance, in the second wave, where are the empowered groups?
Sanket,
Mr. Nambiar, where are the empowered groups to take the decision? I had Mr. Chidambaram on the show asking this question. You have engineered it in such a way that only Mr. Modi will take all the decisions.
Sanket, who cares about what Chidambaram speaks? He is a failed person who's a...
No, you answer this point. Assume I am asking this question. Then what will your response be?
To get any kind of a certificate, words from the Chidambaram. But the only one thing today I feel as a citizen of this country, every government have failed all of us. We need the basic health facility. Every individual should be getting a bed.
And we are failing even now.
And that's the right.
And we did not plan in the past. We did not plan 3 months ago is a different question. Mr. T.S. Singh Dev is also with us. Mr. Dev, I want to come to you now. Good evening, Mr. Dev.
Good evening.
I want to ask you, what exactly is the magnitude of the problem in a state like Chhattisgarh, which has suddenly started seeing an alarming rise in the number of cases? You're an oxygen producing state, and yet we had the Chief Minister of the state saying that fine, even if Chhattisgarh produces oxygen, the problem is logistics. How do you transport that oxygen quickly and swiftly to other parts of the country?
Sanket, as far as oxygen production is concerned, Chhattisgarh is producing 388.87 metric tons per day. And our consumption on the 1st of March was 3.72 metric tons. On the 1st of April, it jumped to 29.8. And yesterday, it was 150.47. So that is the volume of oxygen that is being required for medical aid. And so far, there is a surplus. There is no issue. It should be allowed to be taken to other states, whoever have the transportation capabilities and the need. There is no issue. The rationalization is needed state-wise. Once Chhattisgarh's demands go up, naturally we would feel that the state should be prioritized, and we have to look elsewhere. Oxygen generating plants, we have not put up as many as we should have in the time we had. We tried to do some. Chhattisgarh put up 20. Government of India aided us with 4. They are in the process of being set up. That is where we should have come in. Our panelist before me was mentioning that where we have failed is one, anticipating the scale of the tsunami that has hit us. I do not honestly think there was one person who thought it is going to be 4 times of the first wave. Everybody was aware that there is going to be a second wave, possibly a third wave. Some countries have seen even a fourth wave. But that it would hit us so hard and nationally. Initially it was about Maharashtra, it may have been about Chhattisgarh, then it may have been about Punjab or some states individually. But today we are seeing that the country's positivity rate has crossed 3 lakhs. 3,14,000 about a couple of hours back I saw the figure, which is almost, we are reaching 4 times the positivity of the first wave. We didn't see that. None of us saw that. We were preparing for something maybe a little more than the first wave, and we would have been able
But how
to
do we
deal with
course
that.
correct,
But
Mr. Deo?
what
See, time is of essence. See, long-term plans of building infrastructure and all will take time. It's good for the long term. But the need for the oxygen is now. So what can be done immediately to course correct?
You have to go in for options other than industrial producing units, which will not be able to be set up in a very short span of time. So what are your options? Your options are things like oxygenators. They would help you up to maybe 10 liters. Use oxygenators with electricity backup. You could install ASAP oxygen generating plants. Again, it will take you some time. With the capacity of oxygen, liquid or gaseous, you have a limit. You can convert industrial oxygen to medical grade oxygen. Those are installed capacities. So, Sanket, we have to see the reality that beyond installed capacities, everything would be long term. What you can do is use machines like this, implements like this, for the short, immediate term. Otherwise, you will fall very, very, very short.
Okay. All right. Mr. Mehra, Mr. Nambiar, as well as Mr. Deo, thank you very much for joining us on this discussion. Let's move on now and talk about perhaps another planet maybe. We are talking about planet West Bengal. Why I call it planet West Bengal? Because on this planet, planet Earth, there is COVID-19. But as far as planet West Bengal is concerned, it appeared, at least up until this evening, that there is no COVID-19. That there is no crisis, there is no second wave, third wave, it's only election wave. But now finally the Election Commission has moved in and they have said there will be no rallies in West Bengal, there will also be no road shows. But just 2 phases are left of an 8-phase election, and this drama played out. The role of the Election Commission has been in question, by the Calcutta High Court. Is this too little, too late? So as far as West Bengal is concerned, it seemed that it existed in a totally different universe, because here on planet Earth there is a pandemic, and particularly in India there has been a national COVID emergency. But it seems that after this new wave or new tsunami, finally the political class has woken up, where the Prime Minister was supposed to hold a rally yesterday is now cancelling his Bengal program. He's not going to be there physically, but he'll hold a virtual rally tomorrow at 5 p.m. for West Bengal. Amit Shah, JP Nadda have also cancelled their rallies. This decision has been taken just a short while ago. In fact, Prime Minister Modi is going to chair high-level COVID meetings tomorrow in the national capital. So that's going to be his main focus. But BJP's rally alert, in fact, came, and this is what led to a lot of criticism. It came with a smiling picture of Amit Shah, which was criticized on social media, because this was immediately being juxtaposed with the sort of oxygen emergency that India is facing right now. Then the BJP released video of Mamta rallies with no COVID protocol. Remember, she held about 4 rallies today where actually there was no COVID protocol. The TMC says that they've written to the Election Commission saying that they must club the last 2 phases of elections. TMC has told the Election Commission this is a grave risk to public health. But the Election Commission directive also has come to the political parties, where they say, many say a bit late though, if candidates will not abide by COVID protocols during campaign, action will be taken. Too little, too late, many say. Well, now the Calcutta High Court has come in, where strong observations have come in from the Calcutta High Court. They say that the Election Commission is empowered to act, but what is it doing about polls in COVID times? Election Commission is passing circulars and leaving it to people. EC isn't doing 1/10 of what TN Session had done. If EC does not act, the court will. Let's now quickly go across to Mr. Suparna Moitra. He's the spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress. We'll also have Mr. Chandrakumar Bose, senior leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party West Bengal unit. Mr. Moitra, we heard the Prime Minister say that he is not going to come to West Bengal because he has meetings on COVID. Then the BJP said that their other leaders will also not be rallying or campaigning in West Bengal. We never heard something like this from the Trinamool Congress. Yes, the Trinamool Congress has definitely written letters to the Election Commission. I agree, we have seen your letters. But beyond that, it seemed that you would have continued with your election campaigning had it not been for the Election Commission.
Good evening, Mr. Jain. Good evening, Mr. Upadhyay.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Now, let me tell you that either the Trinamool Congress or any other political party has the right to be standing on a high moral ground.
Mm-hmm.
And let me admit that. One, we as all political parties, maybe we are a smaller political party, and we also did not have so much of resources at our disposal to be avoiding contact, but we have tried to have focus group meetings, keeping the COVID protocols in mind. Mamata Banerjee ji had also tweeted a couple of minutes back that she is suspending even that as well.
Okay. Okay.
I would also say, Mr. Upadhyay, that I do not know that whether the Calcutta High Court's stricture made the Election Commission wake up from the deep slumber, or it coincided with the reminder that Shri Narendra Modi also happens to be the Prime Minister, and he has his responsibilities as the Prime Minister.
No, so Mr. Moitra, you are saying that this could very well be a case of the Election Commission perhaps fearing that there will be a very strong observation or an order by the Calcutta High Court. Now, many people would also question about issues of jurisdiction.
No, I'm not talking about the Calcutta High Court, Mr. Upadhyay. I am saying that all came together, right? Because we know what is happening in the country with regard to the complete mismanagement of the COVID issue, be it the vaccines, be it the ventilators, be it the remdesivirs, be it everything. So what has happened is that the Prime Minister, for the first time, was forced to be acting as the Prime Minister and had to cancel his rallies to Bengal.
Okay.
And the Calcutta High Court also issued a strict... So it was a combination...
Okay. Yeah, one moment. Let me get in a response from Mr. Chandra Bose. Chandra Bose of the BJP is also with us. Mr. Chandra Bose, Mr. Moitra of the TMC says that the Prime Minister has had to be reminded that he is the Prime Minister of the country and his services are needed in New Delhi managing this COVID crisis and not as a star campaigner in West Bengal. Mr. Bose, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, my question, yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, you see, the Prime Minister is definitely, in charge of all issues pertaining to the country, the nation as a whole. But he is also a Bharatiya Janata Party leader. And we are having elections in West Bengal. So I think it is his right to come and campaign in Bengal. I mean, why shouldn't the Prime Minister, who is a leader of BJP, happens to be one of the tallest leaders of our party, why shouldn't he campaign in Bengal? Because Bengal also needs Narendra Modi. So I think that is a little unfair.
The country in the middle of an oxygen crisis perhaps needs its Prime Minister a little more, Mr. Bose? Would you concur?
No, certainly. But you see, the Prime Minister personally need not be present in Delhi because we have a system in place, and obviously he has
Where is
given
that system, if I may ask? That's the problem, no, Mr. Bose. Unfortunately, you have an oxygen crisis. And imagine if in the middle of this big, big oxygen crisis, where hospitals are running out of oxygen, the Prime Minister were to campaign. What message does that send?
Certainly there is a crisis. I'm not denying that. There is, we are in the midst of the second wave of this COVID pandemic, and we have an oxygen issue, a crisis, certainly. But I'm sure the Prime Minister has taken suitable steps. He need not be physically present in a certain location in order to resolve the issue.
Then by that logic, why should he be physically present in West Bengal?
Well, I think he has cancelled his program. I mean, he's now going to have a virtual meeting.
Correct.
That has already been conveyed.
Okay.
So I think, of course, we should have reacted early. I agree with you. I think all political parties and all leaders have failed to follow the COVID norms.
Good.
I think the Calcutta High Court had to point this out.
I think this is a welcome change, that now finally at least all political parties and all political leaders do admit that we have all collectively failed. Yes, we have. And this is an emergency, and thus emergency measures need to be taken to resolve this crisis. Unprecedented, actually. And which is why we're calling it once again a national oxygen emergency. Mr. Bose as well as Mr. Moitra, thank you very much for joining us. News continues on the other side. Stay with us.